And now the weather from the United Broadcasting. Today's forecast calls for clear skies and mostly honey weather. Honey.
Honey Smacks taste sweet as honey because I take puffs of wheat and smack 'em honey sweet.
Start weather forecast.
Pour it on, Diggum.
A honey sweet part of this nutritious breakfast.
Beginning rain and sleet.
What man say rain and sleet?
No, honey sweet.
Oh.
Kellogg's Honey Smacks.
Tastes sweet as honey.
Channel 13, KCOP, Los Angeles.
Something very strange going on in this house.
Every family is entitled to its own little secret.
It's no secret that we're bewitched. Weekdays at 5 on Channel 13.
You called, oh, square one.
Don't go away, because Robotech's coming right back.
Hey, look at this radio I found.
Introducing Blaster. He looks like an innocent radio, but transformed. He's the powerful Autobot communicator.
Optimus Prime to Blaster. Watch out for Soundwave.
Robots in disguise.
Is Soundwave a buzzsaw? Blaster and Prime will stop him.
The Transformers.
The Transformers, each sold separately from Hasbro.
You can take a bite, take an alphabet bite today.
Okay, I'll play.
It's roast that goes.
Ghost, how gross.
You can eat the letters G-H-O-S-T before the ghost eats thee.
Not me. I'll roast you, Ghost. And that's no boost. Bye-bye.
Post Alphabet Cereal, a tasty part of this nutritious breakfast.
It's Yum Yum Fun that is cool and keen, and its name is the Snoopy Snow Cone Machine. You put ice cubes in and get a snow cone out.
It's fun.
Yum Yum Fun is what it's all about.
Some assembly required, and you mix the punch flavor.
Yummy, Snoopy.
It's Yum Yum Fun that is cool and keen,
Yummy.
and its name is the Snoopy Snow Cone Machine.
Snoopy Snow Cone Machine comes with everything you see here from Hasbro.
Robotech is back now. Robotech will be right back, so don't go away.
I'm a witch, not a magician.
And we're Channel 13, casting a summer spell of magical fun with Bewitched.
That's marvelous. That is marvelous.
You gotta say one thing for her. She's got imagination.
She is bewitched.
She's a real swinger, isn't she?
I don't know when to stop.
Oh, I'd like to put you across my knee and spank you.
Bewitched, weekdays at 5 on Channel 13.
Feeling like cinnamon toast. Feeling like cinnamon toast crunch. Feeling like cinnamon and sugar. Feeling like homemade taste. Feeling like cinnamon toast crunch.
It's the cereal sprinkled with real cinnamon and sugar for the delicious taste of homemade cinnamon toast.
It's a toasty good part of this nutritious breakfast. Feeling like cinnamon toast. Feeling like cinnamon toast crunch.
Let's break for breakfast.
Maybe those kids will share their tricks with a jumping gymnast. Having a workout, kids?
We're having this good, nutritious breakfast with tricks.
Tricks? With those fruit flavors I fall for?
Let's see your other tricks.
1 and 2 and oranges, lemons, and grapes I see. The fruit taste of tricks is all for me.
Rabbit.
Silly rabbit. Tricks are for kids.
It never works out.
The ultimate threat to the universe is here.
I am Hordak, and this is my evil horde.
Leech! Antenna! Whistler!
Your evil even scares me, Hordak, my friend. The evil horde has no friends.
The Evil Horde, new from the Masters of the Universe collection. All figures each sold separately.
Get me out of here!
From Mattel.
Robotech is back!
Don't go away, because Robotech's coming. right back.
creamsicle pop star. All our favorite flavors come on that stick. I've become a pop star in just one lick. I'm a popsicle pan pop star. Hot kids, give it all you got. Hot kids, you kids are so cool that you're hot.
Kool-Aid! You forgot the pitcher.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah.
Kool-Aid is for hot kids like you. Kool-Aid is for hot kids like you.
Play our song, musical glowworm.
I sing you lullabies, I make your days bright.
I bring you sweet dreams. I help you sleep tight. We're all your good night friends. Well, Butterfly, she's at the pajama party. She's so happy she's glowing.
Bedtime.
Musical glowworm will play a tune for us to go to sleep to. Night, 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 night. Sleep tight.
Musical glowworm, glowbug, and glow butterfly, each sold separately from Hasbro Preschool.
Gleaming in the morning light, home of Shira shining bright. Crystal Castle.
You put it together. Shira sold separately. You can pretend.
Magic things shine everywhere, 'cause it has a secret power. Lifted high on a throne, Shira saves the world alone. The fate of the world safe in Crystal Castle, Princess of Power.
Crystal Castle comes with everything you see here. Shira dolls sold separately. New from Mattel.
Robotech is back now.
Channel 13, KCOP, Los Angeles. Trenzor Z is the mightiest of machines, and you're at the controls of its power-packed offense every weekday morning at 7:30 here on Channel 13.
Here's the Hart Family Nursery.
Fun is being part of the family that's all heart.
A nursery.
Yeah.
You put it together. Hart Family Deluxe set sold separately.
Out of bed, sleepy heads, darling kids, time for a bath.
Wow, a baby bed.
Now for a snack, then how about a little nap? Fun is being part of the family that's all heart.
The Hart Family Nursery comes with everything you see here. Hart Family Deluxe set sold separately. New from Mattel.
There goes Glover! Ward tried to pass in midair, and Glover cut him off. Now Ward comes back and hammers again at Glover, and Ward drives Glover to the outside. Jeff Ward wins it.
The Rose Bowl track this year is no bed of roses, and the checker flag's got my name on it. Well, don't send your application to the Hall of Fame yet, Glover.
Yeah, well, I hope you enjoyed the halftime show, because that's about as much fun as you're going to have. See Ward and Glover now tied in the points race, battle it out on the toughest track ever built. Miller Supercross Finals, Rose Bowl this Saturday, August 17th, 6:30 p.m. Tickets now at Ticketmaster, Super Shops, and Suzuki dealers.
What's happening in the land of Rainbow Bright?
Baby Bright is born. Just arrived on a rainbow morn.
Baby Bright is my beautiful rainbow baby. Pretty pink hair, a tiny pink star. She even drinks a special formula. Rainbow!
Baby Bright is a rainbow just for you to love.
We love you, Baby Bright.
Baby Bright doll comes with this rainbow bottle. She's from the world of Rainbow Bright. New from Mattel.
Wow, water view! Underwater, I won't go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs with its awesome chocolatey taste. It's a scrumptious part of this good breakfast. Uh-oh, something's fishy.
Sonny, wants a puff Cocoa Puff? Munchy, crunchy Cocoa Puffs? Yummy, chocolatey Cocoa Puffs.
Yahoo! Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs! Cocoa Puffs, I can't keep my hands off them.
These are the furballs, each one is a two.
Two feature creatures with a heart just like you.
Have you met a dickon?
They're twice as
When your dog is also a chicken. There's a snooty shamel, a birdle and bird. Yes, that turtle's a bear, and that fish is a bird. Don't forget our Bumpy and Butterfrog too. When a purple meets a purple, there's twice as much fun for you.
Purples are each sold separately from Rumco. Purple.
8 a.m. I had fruit flavors on my mind and tricks in my sights. This disguise was sure to get some.
A detective!
How's Trix, sweetheart?
Great. Trix is part of this good, nutritious breakfast.
Well, I'll need this for evidence. Play it, Sam. Oranges, lemons, and grapes, I see. The fruit taste of Trix is all for me!
Rabbit! Silly rabbit. Tricks are for kids. Case closed.
Summertime, we're the kids who love to play each and every single day. We like fries and suki a lot. That's why we love to play at Knott's Berry Farm. We're the kids who love to play each and every single day. We like fries and suki a lot. That's why we love to play at Knott's Berry Farm.
And now Laylas has joined the Peanuts gang. You can see him at Knott's.
I'm moving my feet for a taste so neat. That yellow popcorn taste. Hop, 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 my feet can't stop. Until they pop up nice and hot.
Because they taste so good.
I'm moving my feet to the Pop-Tart beat. Moving real fast, but they sure won't last. They'll prove on the inside. Great taste all around. Pop, pop, Pop-Tart. I'm moving my feet to the Pop-Tart beat. Because they taste so neat.
Robotech is back now.
Kingsport police, along with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, are working to locate a missing woman. Good evening, I'm Sarah Diamond.
And I'm Ansley Daniel. Tonight, we're hearing from that woman's mother. An active endangered young adult alert is out for 20-year-old Layla Santanello. She was last seen around June 26th around American Way in Kingsport. That specific type of alert exists in Tennessee because of the Holly Bobo Act.
Yeah, it became law back in 2020. It's named after a 20-year-old nursing student who was abducted from her Decatur County home back in 2011. The TBI reserves this type of alert for missing adults aged between 18 and 20 if there's a concern for their safety.
News Channel 11's Clarice Shaley is live in Kingsport now. Clarice, you spoke with Layla's mother. What did she tell you?
Yeah, Sarah and Ainsley, Layla's mother told me that TBI informed her of the alert and that she's happy about it because she feels like it brings more attention to her daughter's case that still has no leads.
This is actually somewhere that Layla frequented when she was growing up. She loved it here.
Jennifer Santanello's 20-year-old daughter, Layla Santanello, has been missing now going on 5 weeks. The last she was heard from, Layla told her mom she was staying at the AmeriCorps Hotel with a friend.
Like, okay, be safe, and I love you. And she texted back, I love you even more.
She says since then, there have been no leads in her case. The family and authorities have been following up on every tip they receive, still with no answers.
And it's kind of been like stages of denial. It's fine. She'll be home. She's out there somewhere. And then sort of shock where like you're just numb. Now I'm kind of angry and I want to make a lot of noise and I want people to help.
Layla's a mother with a 2-year-old daughter, Nova Grace.
She misses her mom. We've got pictures on the fridge of everyone in the family, and you walk past the fridge with this baby, and she likes to play the Name Everyone game, you know, and she just first one's always mommy.
This park filled with family members will serve as a place of hope for the family Saturday, where they plan to hold a vigil for Layla.
It's a scary, scary thing. But I'm still, holding on to the hope that she is, in fact, out there somewhere.
Jennifer Santanello says it will be Layla's 21st birthday tomorrow. TBI is now working with Kingsport Police Department in Layla's case, and both departments say that if you have any information, to contact them immediately. Live in Kingsport, Clarice Shaley, News Channel 11.
Welcome, everyone. I hope everybody's doing well. Happy Tuesday. So tonight is something that we do from time to time, very rarely. The funny's not happening tonight. And I realize there's a lot of comments and there's other creators we talk about and that that are loosely involved in this case with things that don't matter. We're not going to talk about that stuff. Anybody who I bring on is free to talk about anything they want. I'm just not going to bring it up, and I would ask you guys in the chat to keep those comments to yourself. But I am going to be bringing on Brittany and George soon. I'm just waiting for them to join us. But I have Steve Fisher, also known as SF Investigates on Twitter. And I have his partner, who is the lead in the private investigation aspect of this. And she is licensed in Tennessee as well. And they are working together to help Brittany and George, who George is Layla Santanello's father, and Brittany is her stepmother. And they are helping, Steve and Chloe are helping them find Layla, and at least find answers. So this is not an interview. I don't call these things interviews because I am not I am not a journalist. I don't fancy myself a journalist. I don't pretend to be a journalist. I am merely using my platform tonight to help this family spread awareness to find Layla. So I'm going to go ahead and bring on Steve and Chloe now. They are backstage. How we doing, guys?
Hey, thanks.
Hey, Claire.
It's good to see you guys.
Good to see you.
Steve, I've had you on here a couple of times, so you know how I do things.
Yeah.
I just this is mostly going to be your all show here. Like I said, I'm just want to be able to use my platform here to help you guys spread some awareness and keep some eyes peeled and keep the chatter going, as far as at least the positive chatter going, the productive chatter going, as far as finding Layla.
And we appreciate that.
It's my pleasure.
There's not a lot to go on, and you're in Tennessee, and probably have a good size audience there, and we can certainly use, the regional help. Chloe is leading this. Chloe, just so you know, because I have been on your show a few times before, and we've talked about cases, and Chloe and I do every case together, so she's always involved. I happen to sometimes be the boots on the ground person, so I tend to get more credit for it for whatever reason. But Chloe and I are equal partners, and we also have a team that we work with, so she's involved in every case as well. And she's a great investigator. We're both licensed in Tennessee, and we really. Well, I just want to say first, I'm in a motel in the middle of nowhere, so hopefully my internet will hold up. I'm at the police academy doing some recurrent training, firearms recurrent training. It's required, so I'm outside of Fresno, and so I think it'll hold up. But that's why you can see the bed and everything. We don't have much room, but anyway, so I'll let Chloe kind of give like a recap or kind of a summary, and then we can kind of get into it, in more detail. But she's leading the case.
Yeah, so Layla's from Kingsport, Tennessee, and she initially was thought to be last seen on the 26th of June at the AmeriCorps. I'm sure y'all have seen articles about that. But then a few weeks later, it came out that she was actually seen the next day at the Marble Slab in Easton Stone Commons. It's like a shopping center. And she was seen on surveillance, so it is confirmed. And there were also witnesses. A woman talked to her because she seemed a little bit distraught. She was barefooted. And she told the woman she was going to go to Five Below to get shoes. It's never been confirmed that she made it to Five Below. And then she just vanished. And this was about noon. So it was in the middle of the day. You know, we know of some previous activity where she could be involved with some unsavory people. So that's definitely on our mind. But like Steve said, there's really no true big lead to go on right now. We feel like somebody definitely knows something, but they're just not speaking up.
That's what's frustrating, is because Layla, we know for a fact, was with a lot of people in the 48 hours before she went missing. She went to the AmeriCorps with people. There was people at the AmeriCorps, and there's different versions of this story. So
yeah.
But the way we best understand it is that she was not allowed into the room. It was kind of like a loitering situation, and that's why she left the AmeriCorps. But people drove her to the AmeriCorps. She was at a house before that, which we know for certain with people. There's people that know a lot, and and we do have people talking to us, and we're getting some information, but there's people that know a lot more, and those people need to come forward. They can be anonymous. We've set up an anonymous tip line. If they know something, get that off your conscience and let us know. Layla's a mom. She's got a little child. She's 21 years old. Her parents have been suffering for almost 80 days now.
Right.
And there's a lot of people. It's a small town, and there's a lot of rumors going around, and it is hard to figure out exactly what is credible and what's not, because there are drugs involved. So there's a lot of stories, and it's kind of hard to filter out.
Right. We don't know if people were sober when they experienced this situation or not, so their details may be foggy or confused.
So if people saw her, there's well, of course, after Marble Slab, but that from the night she was at the AmeriCorps, the next day, so that's evening, and then the next day between 12 and 1 p.m. in the afternoon, she shows up about 2 blocks away at the Marble Slab. We need to know what happened in between.
Right.
We got an idea, but we don't know the particulars of it. But we know people know that, and listen, there's some bad people, involved in the whole rum thing, but we will keep you, anonymous. And,
absolutely.
This is a 21-year-old girl that's a mother, has a family, and it's the right thing to do,
Yeah. And do you think that people are afraid to come forward because they're afraid of being implicated with something minor like drugs or things of that nature? I mean,
I hope that's not it. That's kind of like going back to the Kylie Rodney case. We were all worried about that, and they had to come out and say, "Listen, we're not looking to bust for that." But there are some people that have some violent backgrounds in that circle. So I don't know if it's that or if they're worried about being a snitch.
Right.
If
could get them hurt, or.
And we hope nothing did happen. We hope that maybe she is just confused and having a mental break and has gone off the grid and is with some. We pray that's the situation and nothing's happened to her. But we got to take everything into, consideration. And somebody. Listen, we've had people tell us that people know a lot more than they're saying, and the police have indicated that, and polygraphs have been given, and some of those people apparently have passed, including her her boyfriend, and but it's.
I did want to make a point just for what Jennifer
I mean,
reached out
it
about.
also depends on the questions that they asked. Sorry to interrupt you.
Well, for sure. We were on Web Sleuths last night talking about it, and I got a message from Layla's mom that said, well, you know, one of the polygraphs was inconclusive. So
I didn't know that.
I don't know. I mean, we were told for a couple weeks that this person passed. So I don't really know about that.
Yeah. And that is a problem because, you know, with polygraphs, they do often tell the person when if they believe they pass or not. And sometimes it's a strategy, sometimes not. We're not getting that information. We're getting that information from the people that took the polygraph, but they're saying it openly where law enforcement says they can see what they're saying. So you got to take that with a grain of salt. It's just, but it also could be a situation where an accident happened, and people freaked out and didn't want to call 911. You know, say accidental overdose. If something like that happened, it's only right that somebody tip us off and let us know how to find her.
Absolutely.
You know, and we're not. Listen, we're not. Our job is to find a person. Chloe and I are not law enforcement. We don't have the power to anybody.
Right.
Our job is to bring Layla home, however that may be. You know, we hope that is alive and bring her back to her daughter. But if it's not, we still need to bring her home, and somebody can help us and remain anonymous.
It's been far too long.
Yeah. And you know, other leads. You know, anything in the if you saw Layla or hung out with her in the week before, or if you live in Kingsport, you know, like if you could check your ring cams, if we could get a sense of the direction that she truly left, you know, we've been working. I can say it now because unfortunately it didn't pan out, but I had found a camera. I was kind of going through open camera, feeds, and I found that there was a weather camera kind of on top of the AmeriCorps that's owned by NBC, and it's one of those, you know, like it's a weather cam, and it's like sponsored by Ashley Furniture thing that they keep up in the corner, picture in picture, and it points right out at the intersection that we think she probably had to walk by because she didn't have shoes, and it shows the parking lot, and NBC was great to deal with. They've been over backwards, but the archives just didn't go back. They got on me today, and they tried, but the archives just didn't go back that far. So, but we are reaching out. There's a preschool right behind the AmeriCorps, and preschools by law have to have a lot of outside surveillance in case a kid's picked up by a wrong parent or non-custodial parent. I've reached out to them. They haven't gotten back to me. There's a lot of businesses in the area. There's a green belt. They call it the green belt, that runs behind the AmeriCorps and behind all these businesses we're talking about. And it's like a walking, hiking path type of thing. And that's where the search efforts have really focused on. And I talked to the lieutenant, two lieutenants at the police department and search and rescue. And the problem that they had was when, you know, some of those the parts of the greenbelt were under 4 feet of water because of the flooding right after she went missing, and it's just now gotten to a point where
oh man, yeah, that would definitely affect any evidence that would have been left. Right. I do have Brittany and Brittany, Anna, and George backstage, but before I bring them on, if I see you guys are having trouble getting comfortable and everything, if it's easier for you, I sent George a link to the StreamYard. If he wants to come on individually, he can, or if this is more comfortable for you, that's cool too.
We're good.
Okay. All right.
Hey,
welcome guys.
Hey Brittany. Hey George.
Hey.
So I appreciate you guys joining me first off, and like I said, I just wanted to give you guys a platform here to spread some information on Layla and create some more buzz and some more awareness as far as how important she is to you, and you know, just to help people become more aware as to why it's so important that she is found. So, and I'm not a journalist, so I do not consider this an interview. I may have questions, but mostly this is for you guys to educate my audience on the situation with Layla, that would be productive in helping find her. So,
Thank you.
I had a quick question for Steve and Chloe, though. You guys were talking about law enforcement. I've heard, and I don't know, but I've heard that there are, at least probably in certain states, maybe, that law enforcement is required to cooperate with a private investigator who's hired by certain kin of a missing person. If that's, I don't know how true that is.
I don't
Depends on the jurisdiction.
Okay.
No, that's not true.
So, you know,
Depends on who you talk to, too.
I mean, there are certain things. Listen, what it comes down to with law enforcement in any working with PIs in anywhere, regardless of the laws, it comes down to whether they respect, you know, your process and how you're treating them, and the same goes with any agency. Like I'm on a case right now where I'm working directly with the FBI, and they're happy to work with me on it. And I talked to the lieutenant, both two lieutenants at Kingsport. They told me they expressed their frustrations right off the bat, and they said that they had said they weren't happy with the you know, the things going around YouTube about them about a bad search and rescue effort, and where he said people were even talking about where they set up the command post and all this, which I hadn't heard of. They're talking about.
Don't even get me started on that.
Yeah,
this is the majority of my content is complaining about that. But yeah.
And they said, and I listen, I have no idea who the other PIs involved in this are. I honestly God don't know their names, but they said they were having a problem with the PI, and so I talked to them. I just said, listen, you know, I work with law enforcement all across the country. We're here not to step on your toes. We won't interfere in your investigation. You know, we will share information with you. If you tell us to stay out of an area, we'll stay out. I said, you know, besides a private investigator, I'm also, you know, a search and rescue team member for one of the largest law enforcement agencies in the country. I respect the process. I'm trained in evidence preservation, and, you know, all types of different. So, you know, he loosened up and he talked to me and he told me where they are in the investigation, and you know, and I'll respect that. I won't give a lot away, but I'll say that
they have to some degree cooperated.
They're building a picture, and
okay.
He told me that because of that flooding, they were really hampered. I mean, if you think back to like the Brian Laundrie situation, you remember like he wasn't that far away, but it took forever to find him because of that flooding. And we, like, again, we're not assuming that she's deceased. It's just we have to explore every possibility.
Right.
And so he said that the search, actually, the day we talked, it had started again the night before. And this is like 75 days later. So they are staying committed to it. And they said that it was going to ramp up through the weekend and then through this week. So there's professional search crews out there, which is a multi-agency, it's a joint mutual, what they call mutual aid search. So there's several different teams in there from different counties. So they're out there, they're looking. They're not going to keep us informed you know, they're not going to do press conferences and stuff, but they're looking. And our intention is to, you know, once they've gone out this week and done their thing, you know, I told him I'd like to bring in some thermal drones and do some mapping. And I'm working with a software company in Canada right now that's in beta that does, we could map a whole area, and it does detection of like anomalies that don't fit in with environments. And I was testing it, and I mean, it picked up a credit card laying in a field. I mean, so so we go out and map areas and, you know, see what we see. But I told him, you know, we won't get in your way, and we'll stay out of areas you don't want us in. And he's fine with that. And then we'd also like to do, you know, once they're done, or not done, but once they've covered the areas that they feel are very important, so nobody's walking on evidence or anything like that, then we'd like to put together a community search, which would be a safe, you know, we would put together search grids. We'd, you know, have first aid and water and all that stuff out there. And we'd tell people, you know, where to go and where not to go. We'd have it coordinated. We'd have everybody download Sartopa so we can map where everybody's been, have everybody check in and check out, you know, do it in a safe manner. But get a lot of people out there and get the community help, because I think people want to help. There are people that want, you know,
and everyone would have to register their names as well.
Sure,
Absolutely.
we'd have a check-in thing. And listen, we could use people to help if people, let's say it's older or whatever, or not in the best physical health, that they could help check people in and keep the roster and you know, make sure people check out and everybody's accounted for. And so there's lots of different types of help we could use, you know. We're not going to put people in dangerous situations. I mean, like myself and other trained search and rescue people will go into the more dangerous situations, but, you know, we need everybody to be accounted for. We don't need people getting hit by cars. You know, like we got to, and we also don't need to be going on people's private property without their permission. We got to do it respectfully, and we got to do it professionally.
That's a good way to get shot in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I live here. I know.
Yeah.
Me too.
So yeah, what about and I'm sorry, I feel like I'm keeping George and Brittany waiting for so long, but I just have one more question as far as what law enforcement is okay with and what they're not as far as your investigation goes. Are they okay with you guys actually speaking to potential witnesses or even possible suspects, God forbid?
You know, so we haven't had that conversation with them, but by law, you know, licensing in Tennessee, as investigators, we're allowed to talk to whoever.
There's been no suspect identified either, so
yeah, but we're allowed to talk. We can talk.
Well, that's why I said possible or potential.
Yeah, you know, we by law and through our license are allowed to talk to anybody. We can talk to if there is identified suspect, if we can get to them before law enforcement, we're allowed to talk to them.
Yeah.
You know, all of our notes and records are subpoenable, but yes, we can talk to anybody. If there was somebody that was really, you know, we'd probably coordinate that with law enforcement if we thought we could get to them before they could, or if we had an in. But we don't have to. We are allowed to. It's not interfering.
Right. Under circumstances where they're more likely to talk to you because you're
usually
a private citizen than
by law we can talk to. The only thing we can't do is we can't like keep them from talking to the police. We can't lie to them, and you know, we can lie to them when we're.
I can tell you I'm the mailman.
Yeah, but,
right. Oh, okay. Yeah, you don't have to identify yourselves.
No,
basically,
no.
Yeah, you could just ask questions.
Yeah, so we do have that right, but the thing is that working with them is, you know, and earning that respect, because there's going to be more cases in the counties down the road, and you know what happens is these PIs, I think, go in and they do this trickery, and then they're hated by law enforcement. And listen, TBI is on this case. You don't want you know, like it's just better to cooperate, you know, and
sure.
Listen, you give them one piece of good information, and they'll be calling you 3 times, 4 times a day. I promise you. You know, so it's just when people.
Now, who's the lead in the investigation? Would it be the Kingsport Police Department or would it be the TBI?
Well,
it seems like they may not be communicating very well together, or TBI is not giving Kingsport information.
Well, actually, what the lieutenant told me was that there is, which I was not aware of, to be honest with you. He said that there is some statute in Tennessee that TBI, by statute, does not share any information, even with other Tennessee law enforcement agencies. He said they have not gotten one single piece of information from TBI.
Wow. And George and Brittany, welcome again. First of all, I can't imagine what you guys are going through. I have a son, George, that's just a couple years older than Layla, and I couldn't imagine. So my heart goes out to you deeply, first and foremost. And is there anything that you want to add to anything that Steve and Chloe were saying here, as far as things that are being shared with you and how you guys feel about how the investigation's going? And
yeah, we're very comfortable where we're at with the team.
Absolutely.
I think everything's going good. They got a lot of information and stuff they're working on for us right now.
Everybody's working really well, together. And we understand, that there are certain protocols, on, their ends. I mean, even our PI's end, and, they have to follow them, and we totally respect it. We have to remember this is a very sensitive case right now with very little information. So any little information that they do have, they're holding on to it like precious cargo, for real, because they don't want it tampered. They don't want it to be a dead end from where they're at and lose all rest of information and can't go any further. Would really be devastating. Because we definitely want to know what happened, regardless of the outcome, of course.
Could you just tell his viewers just a little bit about Layla, for those that don't really know, like what type of person she is, and just she has a child, and
Yeah, she's very talented. She's smart. She's loving, caring.
She loves to draw.
She's an artist. She's a very good artist. She draws and everything like that. Yeah, she's an amazing child.
Her mother actually just got a tattoo donated to her in regards to Layla. It was actually one of Layla's drawings, and something he's wanted, for a long time, to have Layla draw it up for her. But life, gets to the best of us at times, and I'm just glad that she was able to get that, bring that to Layla, regardless of, again, the situation, because this is definitely a journey that we won't ever forget or let down. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And Brittany, how old was Layla when you first came into her life?
She was 14, about 15 years old, about to be 15 years old.
Okay.
It's been 5 years.
Okay. Yeah. So you guys, you grew pretty close, yeah?
Yes, we did. I mean, granted, we live far. I mean, not terribly far, but far, to where we don't have the advantage to see her every day, but we definitely put in the effort, especially with her father and her siblings that she has here as well. We did a lot of, video talk, and especially during the COVID time when we were all locked down, we were on for hours, and we definitely grew a bond and an understanding to one another. I definitely was giving her tough love at one point, when she was starting to go through her downfalls. I mean, because a lot of people, ask, if there's drugs involved or no drugs involved. Unfortunately, there are drugs involved, and she's, like
as I
anyone else.
understand it, as I understand it, Kingsport is kind of a
mecca.
Yeah.
Right for that sort of thing.
We never, in all of our cases, listen, for our cases that aren't kids, 85-90% of our cases involve drugs or mental illness, and there's no shame in that. We don't judge. We never would not take a case because of that. In fact, we work on those cases because they get passed off by law enforcement. That
Mhm.
it's life that happens. It's happened in my life. I've lost, my brother and my mother, and to it, it's so there's no shame in it. And I know that it can be uncomfortable sometimes for certain family members for this to be brought up, but missing person behavior is a science, and knowing those things really matter, because there's a lot of repeating behavior. There's people we need to talk to. So it's good that, these things have come out, and we have directions, to go off of, and it's not degrading the person at all.
No, it's just a piece of what's
Right.
going on,
It
the
matters
truth,
as
yeah.
it pertains to the investigation. It matters. I mean,
Right.
everything, every detail matters.
No, it definitely does.
Yeah.
That's why, we given so much detail. The more detail, the better. Whether it was beyond our comfort zone or not, it's not about us. It's about finding Layla, so
exactly.
And I've really appreciated that about Brittany and George, that pretty much from the jump, it was just, here is what we have. It wasn't trying to pull anything out of them. They weren't embarrassed. They wanted to just let us know what was going on so we could get to work.
Yeah. And I do want to say, because if you look, so people from here might go look at like find Layla's Facebook group, and you'll see there's some drama in there, created by people. Layla's.
I'm in that group. I saw.
Oh, yeah. I put a message in there a couple hours ago trying to.
I saw that too.
Reset things, but Layla's mom is local, and she has been distraught and looking for her daughter, and each side has the right to have their own private investigators and be looking, and they're I think there's people bringing up drama that's really not there. Chloe and I talked to Jennifer. Her name's Jennifer. Chloe and I talked to her. We're in communication with her. She's been open. So it's not what it appears if you go in there, because it can turn people off really quick to be like,
yes,
I don't want to help.
Yeah, this is too messy, or
Yeah. So
right.
What it is it's family members that are really hurting because their 21-year-old daughter is missing, and they need answers. And we think people have some answers. And so we have set up that tip line, but you can remain anonymous. And the other thing is she did not have a cell phone with her, so all of any digital forensics and whatnot doesn't do us much good here. We could potentially get some information leading up to her disappearance, because she was using other people's Facebook, or she was using Facebook Messenger through other people's devices, but she doesn't have a device with her. So it's going to rely on us finding some cameras. When I get, I'd like to get there. Is there trail cameras in that? In the can't remember what even they call it.
The green belt.
The green belt. Is there trail
Yeah.
cams? Do people have they have illegal trail cams set up in there that might have SD cards we could look at? There's there's possibilities, because there is a ton of businesses around there. There's like UPS, hub, which are covered in cameras, but we're getting at 80 days, and even companies that hold their stuff in the cloud, their surveillance for a long time, this is getting to be on the very
Where they're not,
high
there's not backup anymore.
I did, now this might be a difficult question, because I did a little bit of my own digging, not too deep, but I did see Layla's Facebook, and I saw a post from a while back that alluded to leaving, leaving. And
Yeah, we've
disappearing.
seen that. Yeah.
I'm sure you have.
Chloe could probably explain that more, but we hope that that's the case. But Chloe,
that's
Yeah.
what I was getting at.
I haven't read that post in probably a week, so I'm not going to be able to quote it. But yeah, she was alluding to starting over, leaving,
Not telling anybody.
Not telling anyone, just going and starting a new life. And that was October 22. So almost a
Right.
year
A year
ago.
ago. Right.
Yeah. Which doesn't mean she didn't still feel like that. So we hope that is the case. I don't know if Brittany or George could speak on that, if she had ever indicated she wanted to just start over somewhere else.
Yeah, regardless if she wanted to start over somewhere else or not, she would have reached out to me.
Yeah.
Layla was very codependent to her family. She relied on us for everything. You know, relied on the mother for everything. Of course, you know, her grandmother, because that was her go-tos. They were right there, you know. And yes, us, of course, you know, as
I used
her
to send her money all the time.
And her 21st birthday she missed.
Yes, and I
Yeah.
think we can talk about, you know, it's been made public that she also missed a court custody.
Yes, she did, and it was
regarding her daughter. So
after she was reported missing, about a week after she reported missing.
You know, it's
my daughter's not scared to ask me for $300-400. Trust me.
Right.
Right.
Trust me.
And there, you know,
Right.
and listen, there's, you know, there's public posts out there about money being owed by another person.
People being told she was gone, you know.
You know, these are that there was debts owed. You know, well, I'm just say, you know, by her, you know, boyfriend, I guess that he said it. He said it online himself.
Yeah.
You know. So he made some comments. I think you guys could quote it better. But he made some comments early in the very first days about certain things, right?
About
finding her, going to finding her, and
well, yes. First, it started off with her saying that she was missing, and you know that something was very wrong. And then, you know, it goes in a little deeper of, well, I believe somebody, you know, is at fault here. Something has happened to her. You know, an accident has occurred and it wasn't handled properly and was, you know, essentially like leading to it, like drug use. Like she had an accidental overdose and it wasn't handled properly, and that she was already essentially gone. He made a couple posts in regards to saying that she was, in fact, already gone.
Very early on. Yeah,
So
her boyfriend.
I'm looking at the timeline, and so we're not making accusations. This is just these are comments he made publicly. You know, she went missing on the 27th, or she was last seen on the 27th.
Of
on
June,
the
yes.
On the 24th, 3 days before, he contacted her mother Jennifer, stated he was worried that she was in jail because he couldn't locate her. And then on the 26th, day before, he contacted the mom through Layla's Facebook Messenger in a panic, insisting she was missing, even though he had spoken to her 24 hours earlier. And that's actually quoted in a GoFundMe. And he also alluded in that to an overdose and talked about how when people overdose, people around them tend to panic and dump bodies. This is the day before she was last
She
seen.
was reported, yeah.
So it's kind of bizarre, you know, like, and we don't know if that they were using heavily and maybe she walked off and he thought something happened, but, you know, we know she ended up in Marble Slab. So we need help with this. It was the middle of the day. It's not that people know each other. Like you see a girl walking barefoot. She was known in that town. Somebody just give us some breadcrumbs. Give us something to work with. We're not going to jam you up. You can rate them out. You know, you can call the number, but we won't answer the number. We'll let you leave a message, or you can text. But if you call, you just hit *67. It'll block your caller ID from showing up.
Right.
Yeah.
We won't know who you are. Just give us something to go off of. Let us find Layla, or you know, and hopefully alive. But either way, so let's find her, and because she deserves that, her daughter deserves that, her family deserves that.
Absolutely.
Right.
Especially if it was an accident.
Right.
Then this is all senseless. This what we're having to go through.
And I got a question for George before I ask that. I want to say this is something that I talk about a lot when the subject of missing persons comes up, because what happens when there's a high profile case and a high profile missing persons, what happens a lot is people just want to be the ones to solve it. YouTubers want to be the ones to solve it. And what they start doing is they start kind of pointing fingers at people, and they start kind of going, this guy looks shady over here, and did you see his body language, and blah blah blah. And then what happens is, and I don't think they realize this, is what happens is that sends it alludes to the idea that that person is no longer with us, that missing person is no longer with us.
Correct.
And the inadvertent result of that is that we stop looking.
Yeah,
we don't realize that we're more focused on trying to be the Scooby-Doo the whole thing and be like, who's the guilty one? Rather than keeping the focus on finding the missing person, which is very, very important. And that drives me crazy about this community sometimes.
You're right.
So I wanted to just make that point. But I wanted to ask George to just tell us a little bit about Layla as a child, some of your fondest memories, as far back as you can go.
Well, I mean, I used to love when she was younger, like 3 or 4, and 3 or 4, you walk in the house and she just comes running to you and daddy, 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 jump on you, we've done a lot. I don't know.
If it's too painful, I apologize. You don't need to. I don't want you to feel any pressure. I was just wanted to give the people, something to think about as far as to help motivate them to want to keep their eyes peeled and
the last time I had her here, we was with my other daughter. We had we were actually, because she's from New Jersey, she was born in Jersey Shore Hospital, Neptune. We actually went down to Florida last time I seen her. Me, my other daughter, I have a 16-year-old. We actually got to spend the whole day together, went out to eat. She's just amazing. She's got, obviously, I got 5 other kids that are back home, and it's just I've been trying to deal with this the best I can. It's very stressful and hard. I can't eat much, sleep much, and it's even hard to work. So
right.
It's just where I'm at. I mean, I don't get much rest, so
I can't imagine.
Yeah,
I can't imagine.
Stressful for me.
If the area that she went missing in is a very commercial area, if anybody watching this happens to live in that area, and if you work at any businesses that are anywhere in that area, or know people that work at them or manage them, if you could ask about surveillance, it doesn't have to be right on the green belt. If we can catch her walking somewhere, if we get a direction,
even a
direction
of travel,
somebody taking her into a car or something.
Well, of course. So if she gets into a car, if she's walking alone, if she's walking by herself, if we know a general direction, we can probably figure out whose place she was going to, to go.
There's lots of who's right now. Yeah.
I really think she was picked up. Somebody took her or something like that. I think, but I can't say that. So
it's just, I mean, that exactly. I mean, we can speculate about all that, but what we need is actual. Like Blair was saying, like people online will try to solve something that they think happened that they don't even know if it happened. So what we need is actual proof. Last thing we can go off of is the marble slab.
Yep.
But there's so many employees in that area because there's a huge bank there. There's the UPS center. There's there's
Five Below. Yeah.
Yeah, the Five Below. There's the self storage place. There's a lot of people that work within a 2-block area of there. And if they happen to, if you could just ask your boss or if you own the business or whatever, or your manager or whatever, say, can we see if we got surveillance from June 27th starting at about 10 in the morning? That would help us tremendously. We need something. If you have dash cam footage that happens to hold months worth now, and you drove by that area on the 27th, can you scan it? Key in the 27th, and maybe you caught her walking on the sidewalk or something.
Yeah, it's just so bizarre to me that somebody has to know something. Somebody has to.
Someone does for sure. Yeah.
Someone has to know who she last spoke to.
She went to the AmeriCorps for a reason, right? Whether they wanted her there or not, we got to figure out. But she went there for a reason. There's people, so we know there's people at the AmeriCorps. She goes, she does. That's at night. She does something until noon or 1 p.m. next day. So we're getting may have a picture of what happened in between and where she went, and those people we need to talk to. But there's people, that know her, where she did, she left a house that had many people at it. We know who those people are, to go to AmeriCorps. She wasn't wandering around alone. So now's a good time to speak up, because it's better to do it now than 3 or 6 months down the road, and because then is really going to be a problem for those people, when they find out withholding information.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Would you say that, and this is for George and Brittany Ann, would you say that she was a very social person? She was very more extroverted than introverted as far as socially. So
she would be the one to help somebody, that's struggling on the side of the road, wouldn't have a clue who you are. She was that type of person to just jump in and, give the shirt off her back. Absolutely. She was definitely a social butterfly.
Yeah. One other thing I would add.
I feel like that would make her. That would make her break things, because who do you talk to? But at the same time, it also seems like there would be so many more possibilities, so many more avenues to go down.
But we
as
also
far as speaking to people.
Remember, we're not dealing with our regular average Layla either. We have to remember, we're dealing with the Layla that was, more so distraught on life.
Right.
Under the influence of, hardcore drugs, for about 1.5 years, 2 years.
Yeah, from what I understand, this was a fairly new thing. This wasn't.
This alters, a lot of, her character, So, we've heard things that definitely threw us, for a loop that didn't sound like Layla, but
right.
Had to come to reality that with our regular normal Layla, we're dealing with a Layla that, drugs took over, and only Layla truly knows at the end of the day what her relationship was like with Michael, and what was going on in Layla's life,
Because that's the thing with addiction. It definitely changes a person. It's just behavior. The person that you never knew was capable of certain things, they tend to be capable of almost anything if they're
And
desperate.
you're willing to
you
put
know?
yourself in risky situations.
Right.
Right.
And I mean, that's a good point too. I see lots of comments asking about the boyfriend and, you know, he's been suspicious and all of that. Well, he's also a drug user. So they seem paranoid sometimes. It doesn't necessarily mean he did anything.
I was gonna
You
say
know,
that.
sometimes they just act weird.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
They're not.
You know, one other thing, you know, for if I would ask the people in that area that we're talking about that, or even like nurses in the area stuff. We have some information on some of the drugs. We have evidence of some of the drugs. If anybody knows if there was a batch of bad dope going around
During
around
that time, yeah.
it's there without giving it away because we don't want to lead people. We don't. But it was it's a very specific, kind of unique
blend
of drugs. So if there was a bad batch going around, if you know anybody that OD'd, if you're a nurse that saw a lot of ODs come in around, you know, June 25th, 7th, 6th, 7th, 8th, if you could let us know and let us know what it ultimately ended up being, because we do have photos of some stuff. So, or if anybody knows that, yeah, there was a bad batch and who was dealing it, you know, that stuff like that would help a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine that, you know, I'm sure you guys probably did this already. I mean, if as far as that goes, looking into any overdoses that have taken place around that time, that result.
Jen and I, you know, we've checked more. I mean, Jen and I were a great team when this all occurred, you know, and we wanted to make it as easy as possible, especially for, you know, George too, because, you know, it is hard on the mother and the father. And we, you know, received disturbing, you know, messages and calls. And, you know, there were, you know, times where we were sitting on the edge of our seats, you know, where there were two unidentified bodies, and thank God they were not her. You know, so yes, we have went that far.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and I feel like just from what I've learned in the last 6 or 7 weeks about Kingsport, ODs probably happen very, very often.
600 children a month go missing.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the Tri-Cities also. So that area, I mean, I'm not personally leaning towards Layla being trafficked, but that is an area that it happens a lot because you touch so many different states right there.
Yeah, you do.
Mhm.
And I already know the answer to this. I just want to kind of get it out of the way. Do you guys, Chloe and Steve, do you guys have any reason to believe that because it was so close to the Summer Wells disappearance, the area, any reason to believe that they could be connected in any way?
I don't. I mean, we wish we knew what happened with Summer Wells.
Right. I mean, I would be shocked.
No,
Yeah.
I think they're, you know,
right up on it.
no.
I'm just seeing some illusions in the chat about it, and I just kind of wanted to cancel it because I already know it's not.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, with Summers, you know, case, there's always going to be this speculation because so many. There's just no answers, and I get why people are speculating because of family, but I can't see any way, you know, they're connected. You know, it's just so. This is different, you know. Like this is a case where you'd expect Layla to go missing at night, you know, from
the middle of the
from a
day
house
really
or something,
throws me
not
off.
from an ice cream shop, you know, and it's so confusing because it's like if it was an OD, you would think she was walking around a commercial center, you know, you would think she would have fallen down there, you know, like it's just there's so many unknowns, and then some of those things give you hope, like okay, maybe she did do this 2022 plan, you know, because we heard that she had a significant amount of money on her, but then it's like, okay, if she did, why didn't she have the shoes? Why didn't she go to another hotel if they wouldn't allow AmeriCorps. So there's just so many things that you just can't make sense. But like, listen, Braden Chadwick. I don't know if you're familiar with that case, but he's a guy that we looked for forever. For a year.
Yeah.
We were like, okay, he had a trust fund that he inherited on his 25th birthday. That is all he talked about. And on his 21st birthday, he did not appear to collect his trust fund. He all these events went on. We're like, he's got to be dead. And I found him in a tent behind a Walmart in Sacramento. And he was missing from Florida.
What was it, like,
so you never know. I mean,
a long time.
Yeah. So you just never know.
Yeah, you never know, and
anything's possible.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's why I feel it's so important, because you can't go focusing on a death when there's no evidence of it.
Right. Until I have evidence of that, I'm going to focus like we're trying to bring Layla home.
We just keep everything open. We're just realistic in that.
Yes, of course.
Sure.
Yeah.
And same thing with Vladicastle in Florida. So we hope that this week they are able to really hit that greenbelt hard now that it's drained with search and rescue crews and with dogs. And then if nothing comes up, then hopefully we can get there, do some private searches, do some interviews with certain people, get surveillance, and then before we get there, have a week or so to plan a community search, and find this girl.
But besides the concern for the lack of communication between TBI and Kingsport PD, do you feel confident that those law enforcement agencies, like I said, besides that concern, do you feel that they're doing everything they can to find Layla?
I do. So, for instance, like at LAPD, we would never ever go out on a search for somebody that's been gone 80 days. After 3 or 4 days, we just can't deploy assets. They brought in outside teams as well. They did, even while it was flooded, they did use underwater sonar drones. They brought in helicopter, FLIR and helicopters and drones. So they are trying, and they feel the pressure. They're seeing the coverage of it online. I'm sure it's probably one of the first times they've had to deal. We need to see how, like with Kylie Rodney, how what happened with Nevada County and Placer County, where they were like, what is going on? So they're getting that. But listen, he said, like, he's like, regardless of what people say, we are working this. He said, we're interviewing people every single day. And listen, it's just a fact. Law enforcement can't tell the family everything because they can't rule the family out until they find her. You know what I mean? So it's a horrible thing to say, but until they know what happened to her, they can't give the family information because they don't know is a family member. Well, so
because it is about the family getting closure and peace, but ultimately it's about Layla, period, and getting her and finding her safely and getting those answers. Ultimately it is. And I mean, there's just too many cases to not be realistic about entertaining the possibility that a family member might be involved. So
or a family member might know somebody involved, and they don't even know that person's involved. And they don't want the family member telling this person who's a suspect, and the family member doesn't even know that person's a suspect, telling stuff. So it's one of those things that it happens in every single case, and I know it's frustrating for the family, and they feel like, because they're not hearing anything, they feel nothing's being done. But I can promise the family, from talking with them, and I heard what's going on. There is a big effort going on, both search and rescue and talking to people, trying to get more information. I think it's hard to get information out of certain people, but they're giving they've given polygraphs, so they are working it. They want to solve it, and we want to help them solve it.
Yes.
Right.
we're thankful.
Yeah, you know, without stepping on toes. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like everything that can be being done is being done.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
well, we like to get out there. I mean, we need to get out there because I like to bring in, some thermal imaging and stuff, and one thing that I think, keep in mind, so the difference between law enforcement and private investigators is we dedicate ourselves to a case. We have all the time, they're working 5, 6, 7 cases at the same time. So we can go out and canvass miles of road asking for surveillance. They just don't have that time to go out and do that. So we might find those hidden little here's somebody that, the fire cameras in the Kylie Rodney case,
Kingsport's definitely underfunded. They don't even have body cams on the office.
That's what I'm saying is we're not talking about Nashville or even Knoxville.
Right.
Nashville doesn't have the resources to do a lot of that either.
Right. So we're looking at that's what people don't seem to understand. They just think, well, cops, and they're cops. They should be able to do anything.
Right.
But I mean, there's so many, there's so much that a case needs, and only so many resources. And when we're talking about resources, we're talking about equipment, we're talking about manpower, we're talking about man hours. We're talking about, there's just so much involved in these investigations, and sometimes a case with that has so much magnitude, there's just not enough.
To send out 150
to pull miracles.
New York City can send out probably 3,000, 3,500. You know what I mean? There's a big difference.
Right.
They, and that's why, we want to assist them. But unfortunately, if you get certain YouTubers or other PIs that come in and they take this hostile approach with law enforcement, then they don't want the help. But, but if, we can work together. And I mean, I'm looking at the lieutenant's email to me, and he ends it by saying, thank you for your effort on this case. So they do want to work with people that are going to work ethically and honestly, and within the parameter. So
stay in their lane, right?
Right. Work together, not just like, hey, I'm here, I'm going to solve this fucking thing, and I don't care. So or show up and just start searching, not what you're doing. Then they don't, but they will take the help, and so it's just got to be done right, and hopefully we can bring that. But we definitely, if they're not successful this week in turning up anything big, then hopefully we'll get out there and expand the area out, and not so much go over the area that they did already, but we can expand the search area out. But we can also go a lot deeper into looking for ring cam, surveillance, trail cams that might have SD cards in them still that we can pull out. Lots of stuff that law enforcement just doesn't have the time to go out and look for.
And what's the terrain like around Kingsport? Because I know in Rogersville, during the Summer Wells searches, they were adamant. Hawkins County and TBI both were adamant about, we don't want volunteer searchers because we don't want to end up having to look for someone else because the terrain is too dangerous. We want to keep the focus on finding Summer. So I'm wondering how they feel about Kingsport and, bystanders just going out there and searching. And I know you mentioned organizing something that was organized, but people just randomly going out there.
Yeah, we had that talk. And that's exactly their concern, is like, we don't need more victims. But if it's done with an ICS structure, a FEMA ICS incident command structure, which I'm certified in, ICS 100 through 700. If it's done to where there's the right protocols and people are not put in, dangerous search areas, and people are accounted for and they're in teams and there's pre-planned grids and you're not going on private property, unless you're allowed. And hopefully there's some other people that have search and rescue experience that come in from other places, and you can place one with every 4 or 5 searchers. Then I think they're fine with it. In fact, what they told me was, listen, we can't stop people from going out if they're going out on, but they're not going to, endorse it, but they will. Listen, if it's done right, and there's water supplied for everybody, just little things like that, then I think they're fine with it. And once they've said, listen, we've cleared these areas, so we're good, go for it. And if we respect areas, they say this is still out of bounds because we need to search this further, and we respect that. I think they're okay with it.
Okay, yeah, that's comforting. It's just right. The idea of just irresponsible people going out there and and I'm not trying to start anything here. I'm just saying the idea of people doing that is troubling to me. And I'm so knowing that law enforcement is okay with that as long as it's organized and by somebody, especially someone like you who's certified.
Right.
And
the problem is that you have people go out and they let's say they search these fields. Let's say it's not even a field. Let's go say they say, yeah, we cleared that. Did they really clear it? I mean, look at Danielle Owens in Tennessee. She was laying in the middle of this cornfield that apparently was cleared. And she'd been there the whole time, not far away. So, if we have people going out there that are just doing, what's essentially hasty searches instead of grid searches, and they're not covering everything, they say, yeah, we cleared that. And then you're like, yeah, that's cleared, we'll move on. You don't know if they missed something,
Right.
So that's where the problem comes in. You just gotta have, and listen, I'm not saying, like I'm some superstar search and rescue guy, but there's a lot of training that goes into it, and you just got to know how you can consider an area cleared, and what's the right way to do it, what's not, and God forbid, what if you do come across something, evidence preservation, you can't just be like, oh my God, I found something, and be touching things and whatnot. You got to know the exact protocol, you got to know protocols, and so there's a lot to it, but just in just overall searcher safety, I mean, it's really easy to break an ankle and stuff like, you can't have people coming out in open toe shoes, and there's just lots of little things, but we do need those eyeballs, we need those people, and even if it's walking street grids and looking for surveillance cameras or something, we need the community's help.
Right. Yeah. No, that's good to know.
Somebody made a good point. Is it possible Layla isn't aware of everybody that's looking for? And absolutely. I mean, we work cases where we think, oh, holy crap, this has got so much attention. And then you go local and people don't even know what's going on, and it's in their town. So, I mean, I think we kind of live in a bubble sometimes and don't realize how many people just.
And I don't know what that awareness is like in Kingsport. Have you guys, when you're Kingsport, is there a large awareness? Because do you feel like everybody knows, or George, do you think?
You know what? I
think we still need to spread more awareness.
Yeah,
I do too.
Yeah, because not everybody watches the news. Not everybody's on Facebook.
Right.
Not on
Excellent.
TikTok, Twitter, and many other platforms.
Yeah.
So I think that the more ways that this is spread, the better, and more ways than one, between flyers. I mean, what was one that just came across Crime Con? Chloe?
Yeah, they will have flyers for Layla at Crime Con
in Orlando, Florida, so, and that's huge, so.
Yeah, I mean, someone in the comment just said, I've lived here my whole life and I wasn't aware of Layla.
Really?
I see that comment on something related to Layla on different platforms almost every day. I live here. I didn't even know about this.
Yeah.
So.
We get the opportunity. We're thankful for you having us on tonight and the team, so we can spread the awareness. We're very thankful.
Absolutely.
And we really appreciate you, George and Brittany. I know y'all are exhausted, and it's
I
hard to like keep doing this, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate it too. Seriously, I'm very grateful to you guys, and my heart truly goes out to you guys for what you're going through. Again, I can't imagine. So your strength is really inspiring, and we're gonna do everything we can. If there's any updates, I'm gonna share them just to keep the buzz going and keep people aware. And I don't know how much you know about my channel, but you know, I joke around a lot. But what I do mostly is I point out, mostly I focus on YouTubers who cover these cases very irresponsibly, spread misinformation, and I use humor because it kind of keeps people, you know, keeps their attention.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean that I don't take these things very seriously. I just want you to know that I do take these things seriously.
Yeah.
But when I do cover cases, it's for me, it's all about the victims. Always, always, always. So I just want you to know that it's like I said, is whenever there's going to be any updates or anything like that, I'm going to talk about them. And then when there's people who are spreading misinformation, I'm going to be right there to just check them, you know. So that's what I do. So
yeah.
And I've seen him do it, and he's very good at it.
Yeah, I was laughing this morning.
You know, I've been involved in some past cases where that's how I met Blair, where this exact thing was going on, and you know, those people were wrong, and you know, he stood up and took a lot of shit about it for a long time, but he ended up being right in the long run. He stood up for the victim, and you know, like you said, you know, you use humor, but you get real serious in cases like, you know, and it's just like this show, and we appreciate that, just like you did.
No, yeah, I get angry just as much as I get funny. Don't get me wrong. I get mad.
But it's in the name of the victim and in the name of case
Sure.
security. I mean, it's not just to.
Yeah.
And not making a mockery. It's not, you know, these cases aren't a fucking video game to go out and solve, you know, and like people want them to be these high crime things so they can keep the story going on.
That's it. Right.
Yeah. You know, so
yeah, what they do is they tend to, I mean, people, they watch too much ID channel, and what happens is, and I watch ID channel, you know, I follow crime cases, you know, it's something that I enjoy. But the problem is when these cases become so high profile and everyone's talking about them, the idea of those people who are involved, people like yourselves and Layla, of course, but people like yourselves and the loved ones of these victims, is they become diluted to fictional characters. People forget that they're real people. People forget that there are people out there missing them, that there are people. So what people end up doing is they point fingers at the loved ones of these people without taking into consideration the torture that these loved ones are going through day in and day out because they don't have answers to what happened to this person that they love so much.
Right.
And I try to keep that in mind, and I try to keep people reminded of these things. So you have my word that that's what I'll continue to do with this case as I do any other. And anytime you guys want to come up and speak and you know, speak your mind as far as how things go, you are always welcome here on my channel. Steve, you know, you have a long-standing invitation here. Chloe, you as well. Now that I'm glad we finally got to speak. And of course, like I said, my platform is your platform, George, Brittany Ann.
So much.
Absolutely. And I reached out to Jennifer a while back. Someone, I don't want to get too deep into that, but someone started spreading a very false rumor about me. And so I sent her a message. She hasn't even read it. So that's fine with me. But if she happens to see this or hear this, she is welcome here at any time if she wants to, you know, help spread awareness as well.
Yeah. Thank you.
So,
yeah,
but I appreciate you guys joining me. This was I thought this was great. You guys want to just hang out for just another minute or two and let the chat ask a couple questions?
Sure, yeah.
If that's okay.
Fine.
I'm sorry?
Yes, we're fine with it.
We're good with that. We can answer.
All right. So chat, I mean, I'm gonna randomly pick any questions that I feel are the most appropriate, or they're, it's kind of like a lottery. So don't get mad at me.
Oh, it's glitching out. What? No.
Yeah, don't get mad at me if I don't pick your question. So there's a little delay, so these questions will come in just a moment.
Yeah.
But
while they're coming in, we do thank you for having us on and letting us get the word out, because it is important.
Yeah, thank you.
And you've always been gracious that way. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. And again, like I said, I appreciate you guys joining me too. This was sometimes the community needs a little kick in the butt. A reminder that this is some serious issues that people are hurting over.
Yeah.
How long did Layla live in Kingsport? Chronicles of the Shady wants to know.
She was there for a while, actually.
Yeah, she's been there for a while. She's been in Tennessee. Well, she wasn't. I don't know about Kingsport. She's been in Tennessee for a long time now.
I want to say about
Kingsport, maybe a couple years, maybe.
Would you say that she picked up a Tennessee accent, or does she remain with a New Jersey accent, or does she switch off like a lot of people do?
Yeah, she lost it.
She lost the New Jersey accent.
Oh yeah, so she's been enough to have an accent be picked up. Her mother. I know her mother's originally from Jersey as well.
Because I feel like that would pertain to her description.
Yeah. And can you tell how long her and Michael were going out and stuff like that?
2 years.
Yeah.
So they've known each other since like third grade, right?
Yeah.
They've known each other like their whole lives.
Yeah, they've known each other for a long time, but they became serious, for 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, but were they just loosely acquainted throughout their childhood, or were they close friends?
They were close friends, as they claim. I'm sure they have spoken. I'm sure they've interacted with one another, from time to time. But we also didn't know all of Layla's friends, of course, and I'm sure there were reasons why. But he and her became an item, 2 years ago, and now here we are.
I already know the answer to this, but it helps. Diana wants to know, does Layla have any tattoos or birthmarks? And I know she does. And I've heard you describe those before, Brittany, and when you were on Headstones and Headlines. So if you want to go ahead and take that question.
Yeah. She has some Roman numerals on her, her collarbone area right there. She has a brace on her going down forearm. She also has other forearm. It's like a flower and almost a what's those dream catchers, like a dream catcher.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So right on this area of her arm. Okay.
Yeah, on the inner forearm. And
okay.
Those are the ones that are the most distinguishable tattoos that she has. Yes.
In her hair, what was her when she went missing? We see photos different. How would you describe her hair color at the time she went missing? Because we see her bleach blonde, and then
it was bleach blonde. Yeah.
Yeah.
When she was, dark brown. I mean, that was when she was.
Not the brown tint, like the brown.
So being 80 days now, it could be
partial brown and blonde. Yeah.
So her natural color is brown.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
her hair's grown.
And she would have most likely dyed her hair if she decided to just up and disappear on her own.
Maybe.
I mean, most likely, or I mean, I would assume so, but at the same time, she may not have either. So,
Right. I mean, we're gonna look at it as she wanted to completely, pick up and go, willingly missing and start over herself. I would assume she would have completely altered her whole appearance, but
Yeah.
I mean, I
yeah, there have been pictures. I don't remember where I saw them posted, but there are pictures.
Yeah, there's lots of photos of her tattoos.
Of her tattoos, right, Corinne? So, and I probably posted in that group. I'll take, I'll go through the group and I'll post some screenshots. And again, bringing up the group, Steve, I read your post and I was really glad that you posted that, because those Facebook, normally I stay away from Facebook groups, but I joined this one because it was started by George and Brittany Ann here.
Yeah.
But normally those Facebook groups turn into just a massive rumor mill.
Yeah.
That is just damaging to a case.
And I'm trying to, filter out, as much negativity as I can, because at the end of the day, it's, about Layla, as we all know, but still, we need to respect both parties,
Right.
We're all grieving. We're all affected in some way, shape, or form in this situation, whether it be the mother, the father, myself, all of our children. Everybody is definitely affected by this, and everybody has a way of handling things, and what might not make sense to you would make sense to George or myself or, Jennifer. And at the end of the day, we all have kids. Jen has kids. We have kids.
It is affecting our other kids, the 16-year-old daughter, our 16-year-old daughter, and our 10-year-old.
Oh, absolutely.
The other ones don't know, but our 10-year-old and our 16-year-old are fully aware, and they're not, and it's been a mess.
Oh, yeah.
We just got to remember, though, is that it's beyond a forum for the family and friends and people that knew they love to share information stuff. There are investigators and detectives and everything reading those, and they just be like, I want nothing to do with this. Like, I'm not getting in the middle of this. And so we just got to, that was my point in my post, was like, if TBI is reading that, they're going to be like, back burner,
Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's just why we need to reset and use it as tips. Who saw Layla? When did you see her? What have you heard in the rumor mill? Like, without accusing people.
And that's the thing, is the rumor mill with the tip line is a big problem, because we did talk earlier about limited resources, and we have to keep in mind, people, that these tip lines, they have to follow up on every single tip. So please, I mean, obviously, if something is, try to use your common sense, as far as like, they don't want to hear your theories. If you don't know Layla, or you don't know anybody who knows Layla, they don't want to hear your theories.
Right.
They want something credible that they can follow up on to get answers. And that's exactly what happened with the Summer Wells case. The TBI said this in a press conference, saying that, I mean, we got flooded with rumors. Social media has destroyed our chances so far of being able to get any credible follow-ups.
And if you're not comfortable submitting to them or even submitting to us anonymously, contact Crime Stoppers. That's a guaranteed anonymous platform. You can do it over the web where they don't get your IP address or anything. Just give it to somebody. Crime Stoppers, somebody where, if you know something and you just want to be out of it, fine. Just let us know so we can take it from there.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the East Tennessee Valley Crime Stoppers. I know they cover Knoxville and that. I mean, so they probably cover Kingsport.
You can call any Crime Stoppers. They'll funnel. They'll get it to the right thing. Just tell somebody. Don't keep it to yourself, because look, I mean, there's a lot of people hurting over this, so.
Right. Yeah, just please try to have some empathy here for the people who are, I mean, just imagine one of your loved ones and they just disappeared and you have no answers and how that's going to make you feel. You would want to know, even if it's the smallest thing. Hey, I heard this person talking to this person about Layla or anything.
I said it over and over on my Facebook too. Even if you might think that little detail might not matter or be important, it might be that missing piece that we need.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
So just say it, you know.
We have some puzzle pieces, and you might have that other piece.
Is exactly it. We do have a lot of dots in this case. I mean, but they're not. You might have that one that connects some of the dots, and then we start connecting the rest of them because we do have a lot of information, but we just don't know what's credible and what's not. But there's certain information we could get that we could say, okay, that makes that credible, and then we know what path to kind of follow.
Right.
So, you know.
Yeah. Camry 3 wants to know, has she ever gone away for an extended period of time without keeping in touch with anyone?
No. Nope.
No. Okay.
No.
Yeah. And I have a question because somebody's also asking where else in Tennessee, but that leads me to a question that's a little vague. But maybe if I'm gathering what she means by this, like maybe is there anybody that you know of that she knows that could be living in another part of Tennessee or even in a nearby state that she could have reached out to and
No, she don't know nobody out of where her mother and her grandmother live.
I will say it seems like a lot of the people that we've talked to, or people I've looked into and not talked to, they go over to Virginia a lot. Because weed is legal there. So they go to the dispensaries. And the border is so close. So, I don't think it's completely out of the question that she could be out of state, but it's not really that far.
Yeah.
Right. And Halloween Baby wants to know.
My problem is for her not to be spotted at all.
Right.
For months now is alarming. So
Right, to say the least. Halloween Baby wants to know, do you know if she has a food stamp card and has it been used?
I think she does have one, but I don't think it's been used.
I'm sure the TBI or Kingsport PD looked into that. Yeah. I can't think of one trial that I followed
that's something TBI definitely knows. We don't know the answer to that. I think had there been any action on any type of financial account, I think we would have seen or known about warrants that were served, or subpoenas or warrants, however they wanted to go about getting that. So I'm not saying no, but I guarantee it's been looked into. But I think we probably would have heard something because there's another case that I'm involved in now. A woman, a songwriter in California, it's tied to Katy Perry, and there's some of that type of activity going on, so that we already know about. So I think we would have known by now. Maybe not, but I think TBI would have been able to track it down. But that's not. I don't know. It's weird because again, she didn't have shoes, she didn't have her stuff. It's just puzzling. It's like. But we did hear. We don't want to get too serious, but we did hear she had a large amount of cash on her.
Yeah.
And that could be good.
Where would she get that cash? Besides George, because I know that George has said that she has no trouble asking him for money, but besides him, where would she get that cash?
I'm not exactly sure. We know she did take some money from her grandmother. what she was supposed to be in trouble for, but the rest of the cash, I don't know where she got it from.
You know, we do know that there was, you know, like I brought up earlier, he's put online her boyfriend that, you know, money was owed. He owed money. That's online, right? So it's something that we're exposed. We know a little bit about it. We can't say the source of it, but we do know a little bit about it, and it kind of may play into the story, may not. It's just that's why I'm saying we just need a couple more of those dots to help us connect some things, you know.
Right.
So what somebody might think is an insignificant, like somebody lives in that town and says, "Oh, you know, this person's a key player." Listen, if you live in that town and you know of any trap houses anywhere in that vicinity of the AmeriCorps and the Greenbelt, because we are looking for one in particular, or I'll say, if anybody knows the known trap houses around there, please let us know.
Drop an anonymous line.
Anonymously.
Yeah. And also keep in mind, I mean, law enforcement, again, this goes into their resources. If they're looking for Layla, they're looking for Layla. They're not looking to bust you for drugs.
No.
They're not interested in your little petty crimes. They're interested in finding Layla, period.
Right.
So, you know, if you've got a conscience at all, please just contact, and like Steve says, do it anonymously. But like Steve said, if there's a trap house that you know of that you may see her in, that she's hanging out in, just report it. I mean, because if I mean, I'm not going to say police, you know, law enforcement's business and what their you know methods are, but I don't see them busting into a trap house specifically looking for Layla and saying all of you are under arrest. You know what I mean?
And there is a reason that we're looking for one. But I'm in this hotel and there's an alarm going off. So
It sounds like a child's toy. I'm not sure what it is.
It just stopped. I don't know what the hell it was, but okay. All right. Anyway, I don't know what it was. That's good. I'm gonna try and find it. Anyway, sorry about that. There's a reason that we're looking for one, and it's specifically in that area of the AmeriCorps and the Greenbelt area. So if anybody knows of any, we'd like to know the addresses.
Yes.
And,
yeah. So I don't really see any more questions. Toaster oven seems to be somebody who
have been
in contact with
taking
Toaster oven.
notes. No, I've been taking notes. I
notes.
like to be in
Good.
contact with Toaster oven.
Okay, yeah. So Toaster oven seems to be quite familiar with that specific area where Layla was last seen, and she's saying the guy in the wheelchair has a machete, the other guy carries a 4-foot. She said something prior to this that
she said that they would probably know a lot of the people that kind of hang around that area because they are always in that area, but they clearly have weapons.
Right.
So
but Steve's good, man. He's doing his gun thing right now. He's doing his gun course. He's good.
Yeah. Toaster oven, if like even if it's just by DM or whatever, we'd love to talk to you more about that AmeriCorps, like to get an understanding. A lot of people seem to go to AmeriCorps, just get a better idea of AmeriCorps, who hangs out there. I think we know why, but if you can give us some more of the dynamics of that area, that could help us a lot. If you're willing to reach out to us,
shoot me email or find me on Twitter.
Here real quick. This is I'm gonna share Chloe's
here, and I'll put my email in there in the chat.
This is Chloe's Twitter. So just DM her on Twitter if you have any information. Somebody asked a question here. Camry3 wanted to know how large is the search area? Is it only in Kingsport? I correct me if I'm wrong, but my assumption is one of the reasons why the TBI is involved
Mhm.
is so it gives them statewide jurisdiction.
Well, and because that Holly Bobo Act was issued, and that has to be issued by the TBI on behalf of Kingsport. Yeah.
Right.
As far as search and rescue effort goes, it's working from the God, I forget the name of the building, just west of the ice cream place,
The Marble Slab Creamery.
the Marble Slab, but it's the building just west of that. There's a warehouse, and then working east. They're for whatever reason they're working east. It makes me think that possibly they've seen her on surveillance. That's why I was really hoping to get that from the Channel 5 News. But makes me think that they saw her somewhere else on surveillance going east. So that's where they told me search efforts are going. So I don't know how far out they'll go. I know they'll work this week. I couldn't imagine them going more than probably 3 miles in any direction.
Yeah.
Just not
I can't comment for some reason in the chat, so just find me on Twitter. I was trying to put my email address in
Can you
there.
just say your Twitter
It's
handle?
Chloe at it's what is it? Chloe_DXM on Twitter.
Yeah.
If you find him,
or they go to the Layla group.
I'm sharing the link that I'm sharing in the chat, guys,
There
is
you go.
Chloe's Twitter.
Yeah. And we would just love to know more about the dynamics of AmeriCorps, that whole area there, where some of the key places are, and we'll
Right. Because what Toast drove, it sounds like she's saying that she's mobile homeless, and she spent some time around some of that element there. So they might know something.
That's exactly who we would love to talk to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Right. So thank you for being here, Toast Droven, and I appreciate your help. So I hope you get in contact with Chloe here and or Steve, and share any information that you think would be helpful.
And Chloe is the lead on this. The surveys were so I definitely try and get a hold of her. I'm happy to take information, but she's the lead on this and is the one that knows all the key players. So, but that's exactly the type of person that we want to talk to, because Toast Droven, the dynamics, not even about Layla, but just kind of how things work in that area and who runs things and who, those are the type of things we'd like to understand better. And we will keep you anything information you give us, nobody will know it came from you.
Right. Yeah. Toast Droven, just make sure you don't share any personal information in a public place like my my chat.
Right.
That's why you have a handle. I'm sure you already know that. And as you see Cherry dropping the link and me highlighting quite a bit that doxing is not tolerated here. We do respect everyone's desire for anonymity. Everyone here has a right to be anonymous if they want to. We do not go out and try to find out who you are. We don't do that here. And you don't have Twitter or Facebook. So here's what you can do.
Chloe at searchinvestigations.org if you can email me.
Or if they have a phone, the number that we set up, which is a anonymous tip line, we won't even answer it. You just leave a message, or you could text it. Is
I think it's in here in the chat too.
Yeah, 423-281-4041. And we won't answer that number. We'll let it go to voicemail for anybody that calls, or if they want to text it. And if you don't want your number to show up as caller ID, just hit *67 and then dial the number, and it'll show up as an anonymous number.
Absolutely. And worst case scenario, if all of this information is this is going to be up, so you can hit rewind and
right.
And there's Cherry has a pretty general, Cherry's my right hand, and she has a pretty general Facebook, or not Facebook, but email that anybody can email me questions if they need to. Which she just posted right now. See what I mean? She's thinking ahead of me. So Toaster Oven, if you feel more comfortable, you can email me the phone number, and I will DM that phone number to both.
And somebody's calling that number right now, so I won't pick it up. So that if that's them leaving a message, thank you. No.
Awesome.
But yeah, all right. I want to thank you guys again for joining me. I think we covered a lot of ground, and I feel really good about it. It's nice.
Thank you, Lara. Really appreciate it. Thanks for the platform.
It's my pleasure. Thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Talk soon.
All right. Absolutely. All right, guys, there you have it. So again, please, guys, make sure to keep an eye out. Again, it's extremely important that we maintain hope. Okay, there's no evidence of any foul play or anything like that. I'd say there's more evidence to the contrary. Right now, what I would do is continue having that mind frame and that mindset of hope that she is just somewhere else, just taking a break from the ins and outs of everyday life and being a young mom, and let's just keep that hope going and try to find her. Keep our eyes peeled and make sure that we try to just, if we have any information, if anybody out there has any information in regards to her whereabouts, understand that she has a mother, a father, a stepmother, siblings, and most importantly, a little daughter that miss her very, very much. And they deserve to know that she's okay. So if you please call any of the numbers that have been posted here and be anonymous. Nobody is looking to bust you for anything. Nobody's looking to implicate you in anything. Just please, if you have information on where Layla might be, or somebody she may have that you know that she may have spoken to, something, please make sure to share that information with one of those tip lines, and you can absolutely stay anonymous. And all of you guys in chat, again, please, we're not jumping to the conclusions of the worst possible scenario here, because we don't have any evidence of that. And you guys know that we follow facts here. We go by facts, and there are no facts to indicate the worst has happened. So it is irresponsible of us to not maintain hope and to not think about everyone involved in Layla's life that miss her so torturously right now. So please, guys, I love you guys very much. I know this is something that I talk about and I say all the time, but I cannot express it enough. So I really appreciate you guys joining me. You guys are fantastic. I love you guys very much. And we will do this again very soon, my friends.